At North Carolina Central University, student preparation for rigorous research is more than just academic, it's transformational. Here, future leaders are not only trained to understand their disciplines, but to help shape them through rigorous research and application and faculty-student research collaboration.
So I've always been a supporter of of faculty mentoring students as it pertains to research. And I've always involved students in my research. I've had over a 30-year career. And even at my first positions, when I did research projects, historical projects, and wrote books, I would have students involved in that research process. I explained to them how to go to archives, how to utilize archives, how to utilize photographs and documents to put together, whatever books or presentations that that came out of that research. So you can always involve students in research. It's never a point in which it's too early. You can involve them as freshmen, sophomores, which again is something that I've always done.
Oftentimes, students do not understand that they can be involved in criminal justice, homeland security, and in other ways other than direct practice. And so getting students involved in research is another way to show them avenues for employment, to be engaged in the study of criminal justice without that direct practice. And often it's a little bit more lucrative, and students don't realize that research really does pay. And the impact is a lot wider because research reaches a larger audience. And a lot of times our students are really looking on that social justice side or policy. Policy is developed out of research. And so having them to understand their impact, their reach through research really does open their eyes, really does show them avenues that they can get involved in criminal justice without direct practice.
Each class, if you're a criminal justice major, you're doing lots of research paper. Actually, in ethics class we just talked about earlier this morning about research in correctional facilities and how the ethical arises and different concerns arise in the criminal justice correctional facilities. So NCCU I would say they do prepare you for anything, graduating after college, careers after life. So with this research program, they've helped me a lot with research and doing different papers. So I think I'm fairly confident to be a part of this research team.
Faculty members provide more than instruction. They offer hands-on research opportunities that deepen student learning and build real-world skills.
There are people engaged in activities that they think has value. All faculty should have mentees in which they're doing research. That shouldn't be an option, because that's what we're about. How else do students get that intellectual curiosity?
There is a perception that research at HBCUs is drastically insufficient compared to larger, predominantly white universities. However, at NCCU, this perception is dispelled.
Both stats and research, there's a big project that they have to complete at the end, right? So in research methods, they have to create a research proposal. And in that course, they have to show me that they are able to articulate a feasible research design. They're given scenarios that they can select, but then they have to be the researchers. They have to be the curious ones to develop what that looks like. What is the research question that you want to answer, and then be able to justify every decision that you make. And that is super important because you don't want students to put on their resume that they have research experience, but then when they have an opportunity to actually engage in it, they have no clue what they're doing or why they're doing it. And the why is the biggest thing that I really try to hone in on in research methods. You got to be able to explain the why.
Research at North Carolina Central is an important part of the overall curriculum. So we're very aggressive starting from day one undergraduate courses, we involve the students in theory right off the bat, in that they are well-versed in theory, they're well-versed in how theory can be used to create policy and how policy will affect the behavior of our civil servants, our police, for instance, in policing, our Homeland Security professionals. On the graduate level, it's much more in-depth, it's much more aggressive. They learn how to put those theories into an actual model where they can enact the model, and it's more practitioner-based. The way a person looks at a problem, a social problem, has a large impact on how they come up with a solution for that problem.
So I have a space for 2 to 3 weeks apart, and one of the ideas I have is having them complete an online
Students are prepared, particularly within our department. Faculty have done an excellent job with incorporating that theoretical, the concept of research into classes. So for example, we have a class where the IRB process is a part of the course. So we're moving towards implementing next semester where students will go through the entire IRB process, but currently a class has it where they just complete an IRB application. But it will become part of that actual, so that analytical skills, understanding what the components are with the IRB process is one part that's done. Last semester we had a faculty member who actually incorporated into the class an assignment where students had to submit a proposal, a research proposal to any conference to see if it would be accepted. And we had 3 students who submitted proposals, and their 3 research proposals were accepted by the conference, and they presented at the North Carolina Criminal Justice Association conference.
And then when it comes to the research part, when I like to get the students to do their research, I love for us to have maybe like our final term papers. We start at the beginning of the semester, maybe get half of the final term paper done throughout the halfway through the course. And then at the end of the semester, I really like to see my students to come in front of the classroom and present their research in front of class. Not only get in front of their classmates, in front of their peers, but this is a stepping stone to, hey, now I have a major interview with the State Bureau of Investigations, and I'm prepared because, like I tell my students, these professions, they need you more than what you think. We need people of color. We need females that are Black working with Raleigh Police Department, or as Chief of Police in Durham or Cary. So that's how I like to keep my students engaged with research.
As an assistant professor in the Department of Criminal Justice at NCCU, which looking at really in the emergency management, Homeland Security concentration, I think it's important to get our students involved in emergency management and Homeland Security related research. And this offers an opportunity, but there are also other opportunities too. This is just one of them. It's like so many internships that's available for students to get involved in this field at some level. Emergency management and Homeland Security is a diverse field, so you can come from it from any type of discipline. We want to get more of our people involved in it, more of African Americans and also Latinos, so we can represent and reflect the needs and that reflect our own communities.
You know, engaging in research prepares students for a graduate school or entry into the workforce by building strong resumes, improving communication skills, and exposing them to real-world applications of their studies.
It is a misunderstanding about HBCUs and what they deliver to students. But at NCCU, we prepare our students with limited resources because faculty dedicate their time to working with students. And when we see students with potential, we encourage them. For example, in the past, we sent students who we saw in the undergrad program that show some potential to Summer Research Institute. Dr. Ralph, who is currently here, she was one who went to California on one of those HBCU Research Institute. Now she's back as Dr. Ralph. She did it even before she came to graduate program. So we are still working with our students. We have students who have been doing research out of the department with other departments, other faculty.
I am a graduate of this department, so my insight into how to guide the research process really stems from me being a student here as well. Some of the faculty members, Dr. Gano specifically was my stats and research instructor. So kind of garnering from what she taught, kind of framed what I utilize today. And first, that's making sure that the students are curious about it, right? So how are they viewing the world currently? What's important to them? What do they believe should be a topic of interest? Because then that grasps their attention and that allows them to really want to become involved.
The responsibility I have as a student here at North Carolina Central University is one, represent North Carolina Central University. Spread the word, let people know how great our programs are, how invested we are to our research, and tell them how we are bones to the ground. We have professors and doctors that actually work with us as students that want to see us excel. We're not just another person on the roster. We have a diaspora of students and a diaspora of knowledge here. So spread that knowledge as much as you can. And that's what I feel my role is here as a grad student at North Carolina Central University.